And I'll tell you something. I don't know if you caught my show yesterday or not, but
No, sorry.
did you catch my show
No,
yesterday?
sorry.
Oh, that's okay. It was about Kuru, Kuru. And what it is it goes back to Africa where they were actually eating, each other due to like someone would die or something, and they were afraid that something would happen to them, so they would eat them. Okay, well then eventually they started getting, where they were having like a neural, like this. They'd
Yeah.
get laughing, and and then they had to quarantine them, and they found out that it put holes in their brain like a sponge.
Oh.
Yeah, and so then it kind of drives them like absolutely batty crazy, really. I mean, because think about it, you got holes in your brain and, all over your
Yeah.
brain like a sponge. I mean, you're not going to think correctly. So as I was doing research on this and the cannibalism and everything, um, this is, it's not necessarily that Hillary Clinton was the one that started it. No, that's not what happened. Hillary Clinton and Obama and all of them got involved with it, actually. And it actually came from the United Kingdom
Oh.
because of the Catholics.
Oh.
Yes,
Ooh.
because of the Catholics.
Mm.
So I've been doing my research. You know me. I'll sit there
Yeah,
for
yeah,
hours
yeah,
and
yeah,
hours and
yeah.
hours.
Well, this is what it's
Now,
all
I
about.
want
It's
to tell
talking
you
and
something else.
sharing information.
Have Have you heard of have you seen the Catholic priest or people of high features, prominent people wearing red leather shoes?
Yes. Yes, they was
Those are made
photographs.
out of human children's skin.
No.
Yes, they are.
You're going to get, I'm sorry, Betty, but you're going to get a big no way. They wouldn't do that.
Yes, yes. And it started with the Rothschilds. Yes,
Oh.
sir. That is exactly what they are.
I
And
also
that is what
heard,
Q keeps dropping.
yeah, I also heard that the Rothschilds, the family is splitting. And they're
Oh,
feuding
yes,
between themselves. I don't know if that's true.
that is true. They had to sell their land of 145 years, the hunting land that they had, because they hunted children there. And President Trump was going to, like I said, freeze their assets and freeze their bank accounts. So
Oh.
they started selling their land. They sold their, I believe they sold, and that's been in the family for 145 years. And then they turned around, and this was a couple of months ago, I think in January. Then they turned around and sold, I believe, one of their castles, the one that looks like a Disneyland, the Princess Castle. I believe they sold that as well.
Well, what about the American family, the Rockefellers? They sold all that art last week for millions and
Yes, they
millions.
did. Boy, I'm telling you, they are trying to get rid of everything that they possibly can because it's all going to be seized, every bit of it. Anybody that is from the other countries that came to the United States of America and did any kind of child sex trafficking, cannibalism, or anything of that nature will be tried in a tribunal military through the United States of America. And they will be taken from Great Britain. They will be taken from United Kingdom. They will be taken from London. They will be taken from Paris. They will be taken from all over the world. Saudi
But I,
Arabia,
I
everywhere.
thought I thought you had the same judicial system as we did, that you had to go to court and have a jury and have a real trial.
Well, it will be a real trial, but the way that President Trump did it was he signed an executive order for anyone involved or anyone that is doing it, doing the child sex trafficking, cannibalism. And I mean, he put it in there. Seriously, he put it in the executive order
Mm.
that they will be military, tribunal military. And they're going to Gitmo. And he said that they're going to stay there until he's ready to have them tried.
But the
He
problem is,
doesn't care.
if they go to court, with your judicial system, with your judges the way they are, that they were all appointed by the Bushes and Clintons, how would they have ever been able to try them?
Exactly. That's why it's military. That's why President Trump went over, the judges. And also, we're supposed to be, there's supposed to be 3 judges getting fired this month. I don't know who they are, but Q dropped that to us, that 3 judges are going to be gone.
Did you see Donald Trump's tweet this morning?
I did see it, but I was live, so I didn't. What did it say? Right. What?
Donald Trump said about the deep state, and that he'd been spied on ever since it started. And oh, mine's gone funny now. Oh, that's all right. We're back now. Yeah, the deep state had been spying on him, and he called it Spygate.
Spygate, like Watergate. Like Watergate. Mm-hmm.
And he said it was going to be the biggest scandal ever.
Well, it is, because when all of this comes out, you don't know about the red shoes.
No.
We do, because of Q. We also just got a drop from Q showing him on Air Force One. Now, who gets to be on Air Force One?
Oh. Now that changes things. If he's on Air Force One, it either has to be Trump or someone very close to Trump.
Exactly. And who went on the Asia trip with him? All over to North Korea, South Korea, Japan, all of that. That is the picture that we got back in November. Yeah. We got that picture. And here comes the Trump train. He gets excited about the Trump train. He says he's going to ride it till the wheels fall off, too. You know what he know?
When I was a kid, my mother used to take us down to the station. And I must have been 6 or 7 at the time. My brother was in the pram and I was walking. And we used to walk a mile and a half down to the station. Now, my mum grew up 3 doors down from the station and used to go and play in the station as a child during the war. And we had this, in the 60s, we had the same signalman as that she knew when she was a child. Mr. Hickman, his name was. And we used to go up there and have cups of tea and watch him pull all the levers to do the train.
Oh, that's awesome. Now I want to finish going back over the Q posts that we got today, okay? All right, so in November, they showed us, a picture from Air Force One going over Asia, okay? Today, they showed us another picture, and it was another picture of the same, where they're in Air Force One. So, as I told you from the beginning, who is Q? It is Trump.
It's got to be Trump.
It's Trump. Because he can't just tell us American people what's going on by law. Because he's just a citizen. He's a president, but he's still a citizen. So this is the way that he did it. And when they started calling him a LARP, because, they kept getting in there and, compromising him, and he kept having to change his trip codes and stuff. That's because did you know we started in October decoding him? They didn't figure out he was even Q, even giving us information until January or February. That's how dumb they are.
Yeah.
That's how dumb they are. So then they started putting in fake information and all this stuff, which we already knew it was fake. But, us people that was decoding Q. And then right after that, then we got new trip codes and Q came back and he said, nice try. And he's now changed it 4 times. Well, the other day, he put his password as his trip code.
Oh.
And then he wrote and he said, was the password intentional? ? or coincidence? Question mark. Now, we've already been told by Q, there is no coincidences.
Yeah.
There is none.
He also said that do you play 3D chess?
5-tier chess.
Yeah.
Yes, and then he sent a picture. Q sent a picture of Trump playing 5-tier chess about a month into us decoding Q. Then when they came out and started saying he was a LARP, it was kind of strange because then Q started hitting it really hard, putting Donald Trump's tweets on and telling us to look at the timestamps, and then Q dropping a code, and things like that. But the name of the trip code was "Here Comes the Pain 23," which was his password to the Q, right? And did you know? No, they didn't even figure it out. They never even, here they've been doing everything in their power, trying to get in, and they've gotten in several times, because those are the bad actors, the bad CIA, clowns in America, the bad FBI, the bad DOJ, that's the people that's gotten into it. But it's funny how he did that, and they didn't even get in. They didn't even get it. So he changed.
The question is, if Q is Trump, and people like Alex Jones and other so-called truth movement reporters, commentators, are saying they finished with Q because he's a psyop, does that mean they're not really Trump supporters?
Exactly. Well, I found out in October by doing research with the guy that was in the Illuminati for 45 years. When he got on, the very first thing he said is Alex Jones is a plant. Right now, he will get the American people on his side because of Trump, and then he will turn on him.
Which he did last week.
Guess what happened?
Yeah.
As soon as Trump signed that ominous bill, which was a bill that he had to sign, so the military could have, money and stuff like that. That's when Alex Jones said, I'm off the Trump. I don't want Trump. Trump, no. Well, that's when he started switching. So then he jumps on the Q train, right? Because he had to bring his people back. He had to bring his people back.
At one stage, when I watched Alex Jones was reporting, or one of his people were reporting, that they were part of the Q team.
Oh, yes. And do you know what Q did? He came back and he said, no one is with me, Q. All fake news. No one knows me. No one spoke to me. Q. Fake news. Fake news, Q.
And then there was the a blogger, I can't remember what his name is, said that it was 4 or 5 Marine generals.
Yeah, there's so many people saying so many things, but I'm telling you, the very first time I saw where it said, would you like to play a game? Question mark. Would you like to play 5-tier chess? Question mark. I knew who it was. We also get Q drops where it's showing Donald Trump when he goes like, you ever notice when he does this, when he talks? What is that? What is that?
I don't know.
Isn't that a Q?
No.
Isn't that a Q?
I would say it was an okay, Yeah.
No, it's a Q. Did you know that in his younger days, he was also called Q?
I didn't know that.
Yep. I did research on it. And then every time he gets a jersey, from one of the teams, that comes to the White House, he always gets number 17, not 45 like the normal presidents would. Well, Q is the 17th letter in the alphabet.
Oh.
And then Q will send us a picture of him holding up the 17, and then he'll say Q at the bottom of it. So everything that we're getting, and like I said, we've known things way before it even came out or it's even been told. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's so much disinformation, even from the truth movement. You get to a stage that you don't know who to believe.
That is the truth. That's why I quit following so many people. The person that I go to get my decoding from Q is Just Informed Talk by Craig, because he is serious. He shows you step by step. He's on YouTube if you ever want to go and look at him. I always have him on my radio station when, for decoding Q, but he shows you every single thing and helps to decode Q to where you can actually understand it. Now, YouTube has been taking down his videos. Yesterday, he went to do one about JFK, and that Q dropped to us, and it had static and everything in his video. Never had happened before. Never. Now, when I started following him, he had 1,000 people. He has 75,000 people now. And he tells you, go do your own research, just like same as I do. Go do your own research. But the reason Q is giving us crumbs is because there's so much to this. I call it the deep ocean, honey. It's not the deep state no more. It's the deep ocean. I mean, because it's worldwide. You know what I mean? It is so far. That is why John Kerry is going to prison for treason, is because he went over to, what was it? Was it South Korea? Or was it China? I can't remember which one.
And
was it China?
Some of them.
Oh, no. It was Iran.
New Zealand.
No, it was Iran, because he went over and told them that the deal was still going to stay. And he wasn't even Secretary of State or anything to do with anything.
Obama went to New Zealand.
Yes. Well, that's the funny thing, is every time that Q would drop us something, he would say, "Why is Obama following POTUS?" ? And see, we knew back when he went to China and Asia and all that, he met with Kim Jong-ju or whatever his name is, and he also met with Putin and China, and they all were in the Forbidden City.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep. And so it didn't come. We knew about it through Q, right? And he would drop us little Q drops, and stuff like that, and call him Rocket Man and stuff like that, because he already had him by the balls. He straight up cut off all the funding and said, either you're going to do this or you're not getting no funding and you can die too. So even China said they wouldn't have nothing to do with them. South Korea said they wouldn't have nothing to do with them, and unless he got his people out of capture prisons, and let them start working and being normal people again. And then we found out Kim started singing and saying that the CIA and stuff like that had came over there, which under the Obama administration, while Trump was becoming POTUS, and went over there and, started a shadow government in North Korea. Oh. So this is how we started finding out everything that was going on. Yes, and the head of YouTube and Google and all of them were over there.
Oh.
Yep. And that's how Hillary set up her email server with North Korea.
No.
Yep.
How can that be secure?
It was never secure.
Because she's got the computer in the bathroom, wasn't it?
She beat him with hammers. Come on, think about this. I'll tell you why she did all what she did. Is because of the pedophile, because of, them being cannibals and sex trafficking and stuff like that, So that shit couldn't be seen. You know what I mean? So they beat him with hammers. They bleach bit him. But the funny thing is Q says nothing is ever erased. So he has it all.
Oh,
He has it
I
all.
hope so.
He knows everything. He knows everything from everything, and just gives us little bitty drops so that we can teach people, and they not be so like, oh my God, are you serious? And then it come out, you know. And CNN is next. He just dropped us this morning and said CNN in kill brackets is next.
Well, he called CNN the fake news all the way along, didn't he?
Oh yes, and he even told them they couldn't even come to the White House for what, 2 or 3, 4 months or something. He banned them from the White House.
Cool.
Yep. And then he started letting them come back, you know. And then Sanders, she's taking care of them. You know, she tells them the way it is.
Yeah, that's one.
She's
That's
pretty tough.
one smart lady.
Yeah, that other guy, boy, he was puny. That Sean guy, he couldn't. He didn't even know what. Oh, I don't know. You know, Trump's like, get out of here, dude. I need somebody. I need a real person here. I'm getting this woman. She's mean as shit.
Donald Trump said in his tweet that they knew who the spy was within the camp in the Trump administration to start with. Do you know who that would be?
Let me think of his McCabe.
And who else?
Benner or
John McCain was not on Trump's side anyway.
No, but is it Beener or what is his name? It starts with a B. I've heard a lot of. Sometimes my mind, you know, because I do so much research.
That's all right.
Everybody that you've seen resigning,
yeah,
they've been force fired. Q wrote us and said, force fired. Force fired. They did not resign. They force fired.
Yeah.
He fired them, pretty much. But I'm trying to think of who else it was.
You had Flynn.
Peter Strzok.
Yeah.
Peter Strzok was one.
Bannon.
Bannon. Yeah, Bannon was one.
But I thought he was on Trump's side.
No, he's in serious trouble right now.
Oh dear.
Q just dropped that to us last week, I believe it was. Yeah, he's in with all of them.
Who was the Secretary of State, the one that resigned? The oil tycoon.
Oh shoot, I'm trying to think of.
It's like our British MPs. They're so memorable when you try and name. Well, I don't expect you could. I expect you know Boris and you know Mrs. May. But how many other British MPs do you know? I can't name half of them.
I mean, I don't know any because I never did much, you know, research on, you know, Great Britain, United Kingdom, or anything like that. Now, I did find out something that I think that is very informational for you, is that the Federal Reserve was made by the United Kingdom to bail out America back in the day, I guess, when America was going bankrupt.
Yeah.
And it was the biggest scam in history. And did you know that still today, United Kingdom gets $9 million a day from our tax dollars?
I didn't know that. But then...
I didn't either. But boy, it pisses me off.
Hang on a minute. But then it wouldn't be Britain as a country. What it is, it's the city. It's the mile within the centre of London, where the stock exchange is and the guilds. And the guilds run a lot of things that we don't even hear about. A friend of mine had a farm in Ireland that he rented off an agent, and when he found out who the landlord was, it was an old city guild in London.
Wow. See, and what it was, even the president, and I cannot remember, I'll have to do some research so I can get it, because I hate being not able to tell you names. That makes me look stupid. But of course, I research 21 hours a day, so I've got all this blah in my mind. But whenever, I can't remember what president it was, but the people from United Kingdom, which was all the bankers, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, J.P. Morgan, all of them back in the day, they came and, since they were bankers, supposedly had, was it Harry? President Harry something, Truman. I think. True, maybe President Truman. I can't remember, but anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. You had the Depression, and when you came out.
Yeah, well, that was because, right. And so what happened?
They formed the.
Right, and
Reserve.
So they told him that this was the way to bail America out. Yeah. That they would do this, but they wanted a certain percentage. But then after he signed that, even in his own words, he said, "I ruined my own country." Even in his own words. But did you know that that was supposed to be over, centuries ago?
Yeah.
And they've still been taking our tax dollars? Still, America owes them. For what? What do we owe them for? Why do we owe them? It's the biggest scam in history. Why do we owe them anything?
But it's like
we work hard for money.
But it's like when the banks were having problems because they partitioned or cut up all the mortgages and then sold all the mortgages, and you had all that scandal. The banks were in trouble, and they did QE.
Yeah, we had that whenever 2000 and I believe it was 2012 or something. Yeah. Bank of America actually got sued because my ex-husband was one of them. He had his house with Bank of America, and they just came and foreclosed on him, and he was paying his payments.
Yeah.
They just lied, and then they gave him like some kind of small settlement, but then made it look like they took away his home. Mm-hmm. Gave him bad credit and stuff. And I think they gave him like $3,000. Well, that wasn't worth nothing. Yeah. And they just took his home. He was paying on time and everything, and they just like cut up his note and like took his home. And they did that to thousands and thousands of people.
Well, some people, the guy that was Independence Day, the film,
mm-hmm.
The guy that was the pilot on the biplane, the old pilot.
Right.
He had his money and house taken by the banks, and he's still trying to get his money back now.
Really?
No.
Well, we just got screwed. I mean, they didn't give us nothing except what, $3,000 or $4,000, and then took everybody's home.
Everything.
So you know how many foreclosures there was in 2000 and 2007, 2008? We was having over 100 a week in foreclosures everywhere, all over America.
Yeah. What happened here was we've got people trying to enforce loans or what they say is let me try and explain. There's a guy's got a house, and the house has a gas meter, but he doesn't use gas. And the gas company were charging him for gas year on year, for gas that he wasn't using. And it turned out the gas meter was in the house next door, because the houses were joined. And they tried to foreclose on him. And he became an expert in legal documents. And actually,
I don't blame you.
We actually ended up going to college to try and learn how and what real legal documents are. And when they came to foreclose, they had a photocopy of a court order. And the police turned up, and the policeman says, "We need a wet signature." And they lost.
That is amazing. Do you see how powerful knowledge is?
Yeah.
I mean, it's so powerful. And as Q always says, the future proves the past.
Mm.
Do you know what that means?
Yeah.
Tell me what you think the future proves the past means.
No, go on. You explain it to me. No, I haven't got my head around that one, to be honest.
Okay, future proves the past, meaning that everything that is going on today has been going on for centuries.
Yeah, like Peter.
And it's just now being told.
Yeah.
And it's just now being told the truth from today, which proves the past.
The other thing is,
everything
are you getting, because people have had bad credit ratings because of the credit crunch we've had since 2008, we're now getting short-term, what they call payday loans, and companies are charging 1,000% plus. Are you getting that over there?
Yeah, you do. Yes, yes. And you know how much they charge you for a payday loan or something? 300%.
I know. We got one company charges 1,200%.
Wow. And see, that's like the biggest scam in the world. I think us Americans have figured out we don't use that. And another thing I wanted to ask, and I haven't done research on this, but who in the hell brought in the credit cards? Was it the deep state?
More than likely the banks, deep state, so they can control everything. Our credit cards were 23 to 25%, all according which company you went for. But if you've now got a bad credit, they will give you a credit card, but it's 30 or 39%.
Oh, yeah. I don't have credit cards. I did away with credit cards. You know, I used them when I first got them, and I noticed that no matter how much I paid, the damn thing wasn't getting paid off. And finally, I got them all paid off, and I said, if I can't pay cash, I don't need it.
Yeah. No,
you know, just like I don't have a car loan. Yeah. I don't have a car loan. Hell no. That's like 18%.
I had a loan for the business to get the alarm system in, which was going to cost me... that cost me £5,000, about $6,000, and I needed that to start with. But I only paid that off last year. I've been paying that for 9 years.
See what I mean? That's why you're in debt. That's why we're in debt, and all these bankers are rich as hell. Now I want to tell you something. I used to work for a place here called Chase Bank, and now it's called Bank Corp or something like that. And I worked for the credit card company, okay? And it's backed by JP Morgan. I found all that out when I worked there. But at the time, I didn't know what any of that meant, you know? And I would have people calling me saying, I've got a $12,000 payment for some reason, and I don't know why and what happened. And, you know, and I'd have to go through and look at all their stuff. And I was like, sir, I'm very, very sorry, but I don't know what to tell you because you have a $12,000 payment. Now, how do you think I felt doing that? I felt that it was fraud, and I quit my job. I felt that all people were being frauded. And I couldn't live with the scam. I couldn't go home every day knowing that it was a lie and a scam and a fraud.
Well, over here what we've got is people nicking people's credit card numbers, and they're actually putting small cameras on the ATM machines, where you get your cash.
Yeah, we had that, and they get your card number and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had that here. We've had that happen here several times, and I'm wondering if it's the bankers. Now that I see how crooked they are.
Well, I had I had my card number being used, and I just don't know how they got it. I honestly don't know how.
Was you with AOL
No,
a long time ago?
no.
Because a long time ago, I was with AOL and I had one card that I used for AOL, and it was a reoccurring monthly thing back in the 2000s. And all of a sudden, my bank account is negative, and I'm getting all these things in the mail saying, thank you for signing up for uh, calling around the world or something like that. And then I had one person contact me and, say that they knew it was a fraud and that it wasn't me. And then we contacted our bank, and then we contact the police department, and they got it back to Russia. Russia somehow chimed in with AOL, got our card, which we only used, just for AOL,
Yeah, yeah.
and drained my damn bank account.
Yeah,
I
no,
mean, drained.
luckily I didn't have anything in my bank. Well, not a lot. But my credit card number was used, and they bought phone cards. You know, the cards you get to top up your phone?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And
But they got it through
they spent,
they did it through the computer. They did it through the computer back then.
I don't know how they did it, but they spent 20 quid until the money ran out. And when the money ran
That's
out,
what they
they
did.
stopped.
Yeah, that's what they did with mine.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they did with mine. But the way that they did it, they were doing it from computer. Like, you would have to go sign up, and pay this money or whatever to call different countries and stuff from the computer.
No,
And that's how.
What I did was I phoned the bank. Luckily, it was not my mobile number that they were using, and it wasn't my mobile account. And it was a different account that it was, I can't remember. It was a different company than my account. And therefore, luckily, I got all the money back.
Oh, well, you're lucky. It took me 2 or 3 weeks because they had to trace down the computer and everything, and they did trace it down to Russia, whoever it was in Russia. And I'm not saying nothing bad about Russia. I'm just saying that back in 2000, that is what happened to me and my husband.
Yeah, but
And
crooks hide anywhere.
Yeah, they took 600, I believe, 650 some dollars until we were negative, and we just paid our house payment, our car payment, and things like that. And it took us like 3 weeks to get our money back, but they did actually get the IP address, and it did go back to Russia. And I'm not sure what they did about it, but it was something, back then cell phones were really, really, really new.
Yeah.
So it was something computer to computer, and it cost a lot of money, to call from computer to computer or something like that. I cannot remember because I never used it. I never used it.
Betty, we've been going for an hour and a half.
Oh well, I'm glad we got to go because
we're doing really well. This is going to be 2 parts. This is the end of part 2. I'll split the wedding off and do it separately. I got and we will talk again. We tell you we'll talk again. Say goodbye.
I think we should every week. I'm going to keep doing my research, and that way you do your research so that you can ask me things, and I'm going to have my mind on, so that I might have to take notes of like who my senators and stuff are, so I can look back and say, oh, this is who it is, Ian.
Right. Now I got to tell you something else as well. This is to add to part 1. Did you know that Queen Charlotte, who was mixed race, who married George III, she was fighting to abolish slavery.
No, I did not know that.
In the 1860s. No, it would be 1760s. 1776 was when we had the War of Independence.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And
wow, so
now,
she's fighting then.
Now I know that piece. Now then, this is me thinking now. If George III was blamed for the War of Independence, which many Americans do, and his wife, Queen Charlotte, was mixed race, and she was campaigning to abolish slavery back in 1760. Could it be that somebody else, and we think William Murray is a name that should be used or looked at, could they have created the Independence War so they could continue slavery?
Could be very well possible, and I think I'm going to do some research on that. I think that that's something that I'm going to do, and we could talk about that next week, actually, because that is something that we need to figure out. And you said to look up William who?
The guy's name is William Murray, and he was the Chancellor in Henry III's time. Just right, George III's time in 1760-ish. But the Murray family was William Murray and his predecessors were what I said were Jacobites. They were Catholics.
Oh.
And a friend of mine is researching Blackstones. I don't know if you've heard of Blackstones. Okay. Blackstones is a explanation of British common law and British law, and it's called Blackstone's Commentaries on English Law. And it is alleged by my friend that William Murray was editing the law books to change it not in our favour.
Really? I want to do some research on that William Murray. I think as soon as we get off of here and I get Clyde fed, I'm going to do some research on that, because that sounds very interesting to me. And also, when I did look up the Federal Reserve and I found the actual stuff of the Federal Reserve, the guy that you're seeing that supposedly signed that, they're saying, was it Henry III or something?
No, don't know. No, that was War of Independence.
No, who was it that you said?
George III.
George, yeah, you said.
Yeah, but the reserve would be 1920.
Yeah, and you're saying that somebody.
But
what was it that you said?
Our king's got no power, mind. It would have been the British Parliament, and it would have been done in the name of the king.
Okay, but it wasn't the king, because when I went through the Federal Reserve and I did it the correct, and I found the correct stuff, it said that it was not him. It said that they made him write it.
Yeah.
Under his name. Yeah. But that was not his choice.
Yeah.
So could it have been the pedivores that was over him that made him do it?
Yes. Well, they say that the Queen is in an ivory tower, and other kings have also been in that ivory tower, and it's the people underneath that control them. Who exactly that is, I don't know. It's like you in America talk about the deep state.
We know who it is. It's the Jesuits and Catholic. It's the black pope telling the white pope what to do. It's like 4 men that go and sit down and have a business meeting and decide what the whole world's going to do. What they're going to do to the whole world.
Yeah, I've heard that as well.
4 men.
And then you've got the Club of Rome.
Yep.
Which is Rockefeller's involved with. And Rothschild is running the Vatican Bank.
Yes. Now, did you see the new, and if you haven't seen it, you've got to go look on my post on Let's Chat with Betty Washam. But did you see where Q dropped how the Vatican looks like the cobra?
No.
The snake?
No, I haven't.
Oh my goodness. It is identical to the cobra. I will have to send that. I'll send it to you in email and show you.
We will talk next week.
Yeah.
My brain's going...
About like mine, because I already did a 2-hour show, and now I'm doing another 2-hour show. And I got to feed my child, my grandchild, and I've got to do research. So, and then I got to get ready for my other show.
All right. Bye-bye, Betty.